Welcome everyone to the Thorn Wines vlog. This week we're going to have a look at sherry, and I've chosen probably my favourite sherry. Sherry's not one of those things that a lot of people enjoy or believe they enjoy, mainly because of history. A lot of people have seen their grandparents drinking it, or heard that the vicar drank it, or some weird stories, or maybe their childhood memory of their last sherry was when they pinched a bottle from the cupboard and it had been left in there for decades. But over the past few years it's had a bit of a resurgence, and one thing that I found when I actually took that history aside and got rid of any previous opinions, I actually found I loved it, and that it had characteristics of really lush white wines, but a little bit more of a yeasty character. So this week we're looking at Pepe, Fino and Rama. Now, Pepe are one of the biggest brands in sherry. They're owned, well, the brand itself is owned by Gonzalo's Bias, and the wines that they make are really characterful, but affordable as well. Really good value for money. The Fino and Rama, which basically means raw, has seen very little filtration, if any. And what they've done to get this classification is to take a selection of barrels. It's about 62 every year, and this is in its 9th edition, and pick from the best barrels and then pretty much bottle it with minimal filtration. Now, someone's probably going to write a comment and say, no, actually it is filtered, but if you didn't, isn't filtered, but if you didn't filter this, there would be bits of wood and loads of little microparticles in the wine, and really you do need to just add that tiny bit of filtration. But it's as close as you could get to drinking straight from the barrel in Jerez. Now, Antonio Flores, who makes this wine, he will obviously select those 62 barrels and select the final mix, and every year I've told customers that it's got better and better and better, and each year is the best, and it really is true, annoyingly so. Basically because the more they've worked on it, the more they have picked particular barrels, and they've been very specific on vineyard selection. Now, this wine itself comes from one of the best pagos in Jerez, which is the Marchanudo, and a pago is basically a cluster of vineyards. And Antonio believes that this albariza and the soil that is there, which is the albariza, it imparts the best flavours. It has the best terroir, as people like to call it. On the nose, it's classic sherry. It's got that slightly yeasty characteristic, but also a little bit of salinity and that white soil, that almost limestone note is coming through. I'm getting hints of marzipan, citrus notes, slightly floral. It's got ever such a small touch of maybe like honeysuckle or jasmine. It's crisp. It's nutty. I love walnuts, and I love almonds, and I feel that there's like the perfect balance between the two in this. It's mouth coating. The acidity is really there. It's what is kind of taking the fresh hit towards the front of my palate, but then at the end I'm getting this lovely warmth and a nutty and yeasty characteristic coming through. It's almost like having a piece of sourdough, but a really good sourdough, where you can actually taste that sour note. And then on the back, it's like having brioche, that kind of slightly cloying, slightly buttery characteristic. This is made from 100% Palomino, and that's how you make Fino sherry. You make it from the one grape variety Palomino. If it's got Pedro Jimenez or Moscatel, it is then a cream. Or it can also be a Palo Cortado or a medium sherry. But for me, the best characteristic about this is its freshness and vibrancy. And And I would treat this like a white wine. I don't think this should be the kind of thing that people purely serve as an aperitif or drink in the winter when they've pulled something out of the cupboard. This needs to be drunk at its freshest, when it's young and when it's vibrant. And I mean, it will age. People used to talk about these Fino and Ramas requiring drinking within the first 6 months, but actually they do develop. And I've had some previous bottles that have been 2 or 3 years old, and they have been absolutely amazing. But for me, I want to see this paired with seafood. In Spain or in the south of Spain, you can get the most amazing navajas, which are the razor clams. And this with razor clams, with mussels, with prawns, with any white fish, you traditionally in Spain again have merro, which is a type of grouper, or hake, which is merluza, and it also works really, really well with chicken, so chicken soup or roast chicken, and it's a versatile wine on its own, or with any of those dishes that I've mentioned. But for me, it is one of the ultimate wines, and the reason I love it so much is because I can come back to a glass and come back to a bottle and just have that refreshing hit and that really exciting characteristic of the Albariza soils. And each year I'm ready and I want more, and we're on to our last few bottles of this, which is the 2018 release. So if you're interested in getting any, you'll have to pop onto our website, www.thornwines.com, and yeah, let me know what you think. I mean, if you've had this before, I'd be really keen to hear your opinions, and send me in your videos as well.